I'm not here to poke holes in suspended disbelief.
Anyway, they see some weird shit. They decide to make a baby.
Thou merkin merchant.
Who gives a fuck?
Oh, I kind of just want to start calling you Damian yells at school boards.
Well, you know, we really like it here. It's kind of nice, and it's not as cold as back home, and the soil is a lot better. So yeah, sure, I think we're gonna settle.
If I'm a peasant boy who grabs a sword out of a stone,
Yeah.
I'm able to open people up
Well, yeah.
anytime I hit them with it, right?
Yeah.
So my cleave landing will make me a cavalier.
Good day, sir. If Siskel thought it was empty-headed plebeian trash, it was probably really gonna groove on it.
Because cannibalism and murder. Pull back just a little bit and build walls to keep out the redheads. Authorial intent doesn't exist. Some people stand up to wipe their butts. Some people stay seated to wipe their butts. Like, it just... This is a Geek History of Time.
Where we connect nerdery to the real world. My name is Ed Laylock. I'm a world history and English teacher here in Northern California. And we've had a long conversation before we started recording this evening, but one thing I have not mentioned anything to you about today, because I wanted to get your reaction totally without any preparation, is I had to spend the afternoon today getting my car back from the body shop. Because week before last, I was pulling out of our driveway. We live in an apartment complex. Had my whole family in the car, me, the wife, and our son. So like literally everybody who is most important to me in the world in the car with me. And we live on a busy thoroughfare. 4 lanes, 2 lanes going each way, with a turn lane, suicide lane, colloquially, in the center. And there was heavy traffic in the lanes, on the right-hand lanes, closest to our driveway. And so I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. We're going out to meet friends of my wife for dinner. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And my wife says, pull out. Folks are giving you room. Just, pull out and people will see you. And I'm like, I really don't like, okay, fine. I don't like doing this. So I pull out into the first lane, and then there's somebody in the second lane stops. They wave me on. I pull out in the second lane. And my plan was I'm going to turn into the suicide lane and then wait for traffic going the way we're going, wait for a gap there, and then pull out into traffic. That was my plan. So I'm going 3 or 4 miles an hour, and I'm edging out past the second row of cars, and some son of a bitch comes up the suicide lane at 25 miles an hour, and I slam on my brakes, and I come to a stop just as the rear corner panel of his vehicle rips my license plate off and scuffs the shit out of my front bumper. So now here's the deal. According to the law, according to the way fault gets assigned, he was already in traffic. I was coming out into traffic. So the fault lies with me, except he was in this, we had a witness saying he was in the suicide lane for over a block, which you're not supposed to do. And he was going at a rate of speed in the suicide lane you should not be going. So I still wound up having to pay my $500 deductible. Now, part of the reason I didn't mention anything about this to you before is the last time I mentioned that something had happened to my car, you snickered and said, do you think maybe naming your car the Razor Crest was a bad idea? So I want you to know it wasn't the first thing that crossed my mind after this son of a bitch clipped my front bumper, because the first thing was, I want to get out of my car and I want to beat this motherfucker to death with the license plate he just ripped off of my car. That was the first thing I wanted to do. And I'll tell you another time about how my wife reacted, which was much closer to actually doing that. But like the third or fourth thing I thought was, oh shit, I'm not saying anything to Damian about this because I'm never going to live it down. So yeah, I got to spend today getting my car back.
Okay.
After that happened.
Right.
So maybe
there's merit.
I need to rechristen the vehicle.
I would say.
Because got rear-ended, no fault of my own on the freeway.
Front ended.
Had to have my windshield replaced, no fault of my own, and now this. So yeah, I'm kind of.
I would say with your ability to take responsibility for what has happened, you might want to rechristen it like the Lady Luck, something that Lando owned.
Okay, well there you go. Okay,
because it's the
possibly.
refrain is it's not my fault.
It's not my fault. Yeah,
no.
That's true.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you all for coming to Car Complaints.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Sorry about that. It was a bit long. But so who the hell are you?
I'm Damian Harmony. I am a Latin and drama teacher up here in Northern California. I've had no car accidents because I don't go anywhere or do anything because the plague is ravaging our lands. I won't date this except to say that we have not attained herd immunity, and people acting as though we have is leading to yet another spike. All of this was predictable, predicted, foretold by anybody who studied history, and frankly,
or epidemiology, or medical science.
So
microbiology, like I have friends who are field adjacent to any number of those areas who were saying, no, this is a bad thing. Like one of my very good Facebook friends, who I unfortunately don't see nearly often enough in person, even before the plague, was just looking at the graphs, going, guys, math.
Yeah.
I teach math.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand how bad this is. Let me show you how bad this is. And that was like last April.
Yeah. No, this was, again, if you just look at the influenza epidemic, then you would see that this makes sense.
Where we are was totally predictable.
Yeah, and totally avoidable, sadly.
Yeah, entirely.
But other than that, no real tales to tell. Which is nice, considering.
Well,
the tale that you had to tell.
The Chinese curse is may you live in interesting times, and our times are interesting enough as it is.
Yes.
So yeah.
So hey, Ed, I got a question for you. What do you know of Swedish pop from the 90s?
I saw the sign.
Oh, good.
And it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign.
All right.
No one's going to drag you up to get into the light.
We
where
need to cut
you
that
belong.
because you went more than 6 seconds. So now BMI is going to be after us.
Okay.
Or BMG. BMI is after us.
BMI for other reasons. It's a load of shit.
Yeah.
Actually, is why BMI is after us. I am never going to make what BMI says is normal. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
we're getting off the subject. So yeah, BMG is probably not going to be happy,
No.
but especially not with the way I murdered the tune.
Yeah,
but,
well, there's that. So tonight's episode is called Ace of Base and Swedish Neo-Nazism, or Why I Think I Understand Better Adult Conversion to Religion.
Okay. There's a lot going on in that title.
There's a lot going on in that title.
Okay.
Yes. So I know that this is going to tickle your fancy quite a bit, and that of several of our readers, because I'm going to go back to June of 1940. And in June of 1940, Contra-Admiral...
Springtime for Hitler. And I'm not going to go any further because, again...
Yeah, I would like to get through half a sentence. So in June of 1940, Dune Boy, Contra-Admiral Karl Dönitz, then the head of the German U-boat division of the German Navy, sought to establish an Atlantic U-boat base in order to hamstring Lend-Lease and any commercial shipping from Britain.
Yeah.
He hoped to use one off the coast of Brittany, France, which of course tickled me because they are known for making javelins, and the Brittany spears are just amazing.
Nice. Wow.
So
the only reason it took this long is because I spent so much time bitching about my car.
Because your car got hit.
Yeah. Okay.
So adjusted for car inflation.
That's about 3 minutes in.
Yeah, 3 minutes in.
Yeah.
On my own pod.
Yeah.
So he wanted to do it in a small town called, and I looked this up via the Google pronunciation guide, Laurent.
Yeah. Okay.
Lorient.
Laurent.
Yeah.
Laurent.
This had been the seat of power for the French East Indies Company in the late 1600s, and later the French Royal Navy had also set up a base there as well.
Yeah, big one. Yeah.
The French East Indies Company got absorbed by the Perpetual Company of the Indies and spent much of the 1700s engaging in the Atlantic slave trade, as well as trading eastward for spices.
Okay.
During the War of Austrian Succession, the British raided Lorient in 1746 with a really neat amphibious operation. The British failed. By the way, we're going to be talking about Swedish pop in the 1990s.
Yeah, well,
Just want you to see that we've gone back to the 1700s. So the
context is everything.
It absolutely is.
So,
you can't get there unless you go through here.
Yeah. So I told you that story to tell you this one.
So in 1746, the British failed in their raid. They were driven back, and they weren't very successful in drawing French troops from Flanders, where they were whooping ass on Fontenoy and Brussels.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's
back when the French were the major military power on the continent.
Yes. Prior to Napoleon.
Yeah.
Like it's their original series version of being amazing.
Yeah, as opposed to the weird sequel that
that
was deeply polarizing. Either you really loved it or you hate it like immensely.
But you can't argue it. Like it's
it's a work of staggering genius, but you either love it to pieces or you absolutely despise it.
Yes.
What I find interesting is that is 1745 is still the reign of the Sun King, if I'm remembering correctly.
Really?
17. Well, no, I'm sorry. No, it's too late. Too late. Never mind. So that's Louis the 15th.
Yeah, I think it would be around the 15th.
Yeah, it would have been the 15th. So anyway, but it was under the Sun King that reputation was established, and by the 1740s, the generals still knew what they were doing,
right? And
they had not squandered their military prowess quite yet.
And not only that, you were right. It is King Louis the 15th.
Okay,
but not only that, but like new weapons and new tactics had come onto the fore. It wasn't pikemen anymore. It was muskets. People,
but yes, it was musket square as opposed to pike square formation.
Now, interestingly, there'd been some disagreement amongst the British Admiralty as to whether or not Normandy would be a preferable place to attack. I'm just tickled by that happening in 1746 when...
Well, because,
almost 200 years later.
Geography doesn't fucking change is the thing. Like, speaking as the military science semi-minor guy who took a few courses in it, like... No, it's like, okay, no, look, the technology we're using to get to this, we don't have transporters yet.
Right.
We have to get in a fucking boat.
Yeah.
We have to float.
Yep.
While, and in 1745, they had cannon. Now, the accuracy was not anywhere near the same, but it was still like, we're going to have to advance onto a fucking beach.
Oh, yeah.
At the bottom of a fucking cliff with fucking cannons on the top of it.
Yeah.
So... Like, the difference is in 44, it was, no, now the cannons can shoot farther, faster, and blow up more shit more accurately.
But we can also bombard better.
Well, yeah, we have a better, but still,
yes.
For the guys in the thin-hulled steel boats,
right?
No, fuck this, man.
But the thin-hulled steel boats were also powered.
Yes.
Whereas,
so in the 1700s, it's okay. We got to do all this when the wind favors it. Yeah,
right.
Or get everybody rowing
exactly
hard.
Get everybody rowing,
and then get on shore exhausted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have Marines, though. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah. The sailors do the rowing, and the Marines get off.
Right.
Hopefully,
and then
kick
they
ass.
disembark as well.
Yeah.
So the British failed to secure through surrender negotiations what they then failed to secure through warfare.
Yeah.
Enough of Lorient was, and please forgive my mispronunciation, the Latin in me just wants to say Lorient every time, was made of stone that the British artillery did not have enough power to penetrate.
Yeah.
And a lot of this failure also had to do with a lack of beasts of burden. You can't bring in your biggest stuff, and your men are exhausted.
Well, and I mean, the Rolling Stones weren't going to, come around
Good
for
point.
another, over 200 years.
They were busy gathering
So-
moss.
Yeah,
So,
well, there you go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, maybe this is why the French were so arrogant about Dien Bien Phu 200 plus years later. Because they're like, "Fuck,
Like,
Can't get
come
us."
on, you can't get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they just underestimated the willingness of the native people they were subjugating to go, no,
yeah,
fuck
you're
you.
leaving. You already got evicted, and then we evicted them. You don't get to come back.
No. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You're gone. Yeah.
Now, what I found fun about this was that David Hume had a lot to say about this, and Voltaire wrote a rejoinder. And it's so wonderful when like great thinkers have a Dick
17
Rapier conference.
have an 18th century Twitter fight.
Yeah. So David Hume said of all of it, quote, "The men seemed to fall prey to doubt. The sight of a dozen Frenchmen struck terror into our lines. Bragg's and Frampton's troops even exchanged several bursts of fire with them. Everyone was discouraged. And the rain, which fell for 3 days, was largely responsible. The route from the camp to the rest of the fleet was rendered impassable."
Okay, now was Hume saying this as somebody who was there? I didn't know.
I couldn't
was
suss
this
out.
put
Yeah.
together like he was being a journalist?
It
of
seems
his
that
day.
he had an inordinate interest in it, and I couldn't figure out if he had a specific role in it, but I don't think that he actually did much in the way of fighting there, because Voltaire also had some shit to say, which I'll quote in a second.
Okay.
None of which indicates that, and nothing that I know of either man indicates that they were there for this battle.
Okay.
So the British were camped in the Caroman moorland, which added disease to their exhaustion, which is great. French prostitutes, and at least one of the thousands of black slaves who were there to be deported elsewhere for profit, also helped bluff the British into thinking that over 20,000 French troops were staging a counterattack. Now, Laurent's militia, some 15,000, were as numerous as they were as they were inexperienced, but the French had better weaponry, good defenses, and morale, and they had prostitutes running counterintelligence for them.
Yeah, well, and that always
That
like
works really
anybody who's spent any time around infantrymen knows, like, yeah, that's the real key right there. No, what's funny to me is you talk about, better weaponry, and what immediately strikes me is it's the 1700s, and if they're behind any kind of defensive enfilade, that's already going to give them like, no, you can be green, inexperienced, like I barely know which end of my musket is which. Troops, if you're behind cover in the 1700s, like,
it's hard to fuck up, hide behind the wall.
It's really hard to fuck that up.
Yeah.
The balance of power in the 1700s, and for centuries before that, and for another century or more afterward, very, very heavily favored the defense over the offense if you were talking about prepared positions.
Yes.
Like anybody who's read Killer Angels.
I don't know it.
By Michael Shera, talking about Gettysburg.
Oh, okay.
There's a great passage in the Killer Angels from not Jackson, Longstreet.
Yeah.
From Longstreet's point of view,
pulled that out.
And like, I'm amazed. Like the closest thing you can get to an actual good Confederate, air quotes. Like, but anyway, Longstreet literally has this kind of monologue with himself about how I need to figure out how to convince Lee this is a bad idea because here's the math about, the range of a rifle, musket, and all of this kind of stuff.
Sure.
And that's a prepared position they're at. We're going to die.
Yeah.
And that carries over back to the time period we're talking about here. So anyway, sorry.
No, it's fine. The result was that the British surrendered and the town of Laurent became an important place of fortification for France from then on. Voltaire said of the whole affair, quote, "All this grand force produced nothing but mistakes and ridicule in a war in which everything else remained too serious and too terrible." This upset David Hume quite a bit, who responded with, quote, "A certain foreign writer, more anxious to tell his stories in an entertaining manner than to assure himself of their reality, has endeavored to put this expedition in a ridiculous light. But as there is not one circumstance," and I love it because circum-stance,
Oh, yeah.
of his narration, which has truth in it, or even the least appearance of truth, it would be needless to lose time in refuting it. I love that they had a war of letters over this raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an 1800s Twitter feud.
Yeah. So
because that's, I mean, like,
yeah.
tell me that's not any number of political pundits today going back and forth over that stuff.
Any number of
that's Ben Shapiro versus anybody smart
trying to go after Cardi B.
Yeah.
You know, that's, you know what that is?
Yeah.
That's Tommy Lauren picking a fight with Cardi B and then being told, "I will drag you."
Yeah, or AOC.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
You're shitter pants girl.
Right.
Right. Yeah, okay. Got it.
So in 1769, a permanent naval base was established there. A lot of the French privateers during the American Revolution were based out of Lorient.
Okay.
The French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars stopped most trade from there. But after all of that, it turned into a more modern port town, complete with its own dry dock. The Redoubtable was built there in 1876.
Okay.
Which is the first ship in the world with a steel structure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's no surprise that Dönitz wanted to build sub-pens there, which, by the way, my autocorrect kept wanting me to correct it to sub-penis. And I'm like, no, we're not talking about the balls.
No.
But he wanted to make sub-pens there and make a forward base. He needed somewhere that would keep the U-boats close enough to the Atlantic to make a difference, with enough supply routes coming in to it from inland via railroads, and where he could build bomb-proof sub-pens to keep them safe from British and later American bombings.
Okay.
Also, he looked at it and he was like, there's already a bunch of cafes, bars, and brothels. This is perfect for sailors. And at its height, Lorient was able to shelter 30 subs from Allied bombings. The pens worked so well that the Allies shifted their efforts to the town of Lorient itself. And from mid-January to mid-February of, I believe, 1945, they flattened nearly 90% of Lorient, making resupply much, much tougher. But the bunkers, the sub-pens, they never surrendered until the war was over.
Oh, wow.
Now, in 1941, subs that were coming out of Lorient, the Karaman submarine base specifically, sunk over 500 Allied ships in 1941.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that's Lend-Lease.
Oh, the Wolfpacks.
Yeah.
The Wolfpacks were, it was one of the most dramatically successful strategies that the Germans pursued.
And when he was put on trial
war
for his submarine warfare, because, I mean, he's attacking civilian shipping.
Yeah.
He was defended by the American high commander of submarines, saying, "No, that's what we did to Japan. It's okay to do that." I would have too. Sorry.
No, and we can't.
Dönitz didn't get busted for that specific war.
Yeah, no, there were plenty of other things.
Now, 500 Allied ships, that's American and British ships almost exclusively. 2,900,000 tons of shipping. Blub.
And that's vehicles, aircraft, fuel, ammunition,
industry,
food supplies, industrial parts, raw materials, like you name it. Yeah.
Now more on this later, but for right now, I'm trying to talk to you about Ace of Base, the really fun Swedish pop band from the 1990s.
Right. Yeah, no, I know. And I we've been doing this long enough. I know eventually we're going to get there.
I will come back around.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I'm especially going to be talking about their debut album, The Sign, and there's some hinkiness there. So let's talk about their members before we get into the debut album, okay?
Okay.
The iteration that I'm talking about.
So we're putting a pin in the submarine base.
Yep. Hold on.
In France.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making
held
sure.
By
the Nazis.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I know that. But geographically, that's France.
It's in France. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay.
Now we're gonna
talk about
the North Sea a little
bit,
or not the North Sea. What is that called?
The Baltic.
The Baltic. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Skagerrak comes to mind for some reason, but I don't know.
I'd have to look it up.
Anyway, but we're gonna cross over to Sweden.
Okay.
And we're gonna talk about the members. Now, this band had many iterations. The iteration I'm talking about has the three siblings: Jonas Berggren, Jenny Berggren, and Malene, also known as Lynn, or so it may be Malin Berggren, and then a fellow named Ulf Ekberg, the friend of Jonas.
Okay.
These are the four I'm talking about. Now, there were other members before and since, but since I'm doing a very specific dive into this band, these are the ones I'm going to focus on. So Jonas, who is also called Joker, is kind of the heart and soul of the music in this band. He's a producer. He's a singer, songwriter, guitarist, keyboard. I'm saying this in the present tense because he still does all these things.
Okay.
He still does most of the writing for the band presently.
Okay.
Lynn is the most reclusive of the bunch. She mostly shows up to perform, and then she disappears. In fact, she quit because she didn't want the fame and the attention.
Okay.
She lives a quiet life now, and she seems pretty happy, according to her brother, who otherwise respects her privacy vis-a-vis the public. Like, she doesn't give interviews, and they'll ask her, like, well, where's your sister? He's like, she's happy. Let's leave her alone. And that's the end of the story.
All right, well, bully for him.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
for her.
And for her.
That's wonderful
For that matter,
they have, like, he's still in the thing that she helped make famous, and she's happy to step away. There's something thoroughly un-American about people being able to say, well, yeah, I'm done with that now. Instead of I need to milk that because I don't have health care otherwise. I do wonder about that.
Well,
like, if you look at British sitcoms, they end.
Oh, yeah.
They don't just end because people stopped caring.
Yeah.
They tell a complete
tell
story,
and
then they're done.
And they finish.
Yeah.
I think it has more to do with our national appetite. And I think it has to do with our, and relatedly, we are a nation that still ideates as a frontier.
Okay, so the work is never done.
So the work is never done.
Yeah, and I do think that I'm going to loop onto that. I think our national identity has to do with nothing is ever enough, like you said, our appetite, but also that inability to extract yourself from your work life and have a home life. And,
Puritans. Yeah. How lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So something that I, as a teacher, have struggled for 20 years to do. And I think I found the key. So I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Fair. So she also, there was also the sister Jenny, who is the co-lead singer with her sister Lynn.
Yeah.
Jenny kept going after Lynn left. She wrote more songs for the band after her sister left. She's more public with her life. She's been mostly a solo act, actually.
Oh, okay.
Since the early 2000s. She seems to have been pushed out for younger women to come into the band, actually. And has had some legal and ethical struggles with her brother and Ekberg.
Okay.
And that brings me to Ulf Ekberg. He also called himself Buddha. So you have Joker, Buddha, Lynn, and Jenny.
Okay.
Now, prior to founding Ace of Base, Ekberg was a member of a synth band called Commit Suicide until it disbanded in 1986.
Until it committed suicide.
As it were, yeah.
As it were.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was a teenager. By the time of their dissolution, he was 16.
Okay.
So I think he joined them in 83, and they disbanded in 86, and he was 16. Now, his connection to them is pretty clear, but his youth makes it a bit of a fuzzy thing. In 1997, Ulf Ekberg gave probably his most thorough response to his connection to the band Commit Suicide that he had up to that point. Now, you might be wondering, why is this such an important connection? Well, in 1993, one of the national newspapers of Sweden made public that one of the founders of the hit Swedish pop band Ace of Base had neo-Nazi ties.
Okay.
Ekberg was somewhat less thorough in 93 when he responded to it. But in 1997, he responded on a documentary that pointed it out called Ulf Was a Nazi.
Oh, wow.
And here's
not putting too fine a point on it at all.
Because he was part of Commit Suicide, which was a neo-Nazi synth band.
Okay, stop.
You sure?
Stop. Okay. So you say neo-Nazi band.
Synth
and
band.
The first thing, don't stop.
Okay.
No. See, because the point I'm trying to make is I don't think of 80s synth music as being a vehicle for Nazi ideology. Like, I picture a bunch of guys who look like Judas Priest with, lightning strike tattoos.
Sure.
Because, I mean, Judas Priest
angrier
doesn't have them,
music.
but you expect... like All the Rage, Sturm und Drang, heavy, crunchy bass lines,
Sure, yeah.
scream vocals, heavy black, not just eyeliner, but
Yeah.
like
like
paint,
athletic
makeup.
paint. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think of Vangelis as the genre
Yeah.
for that. So like,
You don't think that end of the movie scene where there's like different fraternities competing with each other in Revenge of the Nerds, and they bust out with like Poindexter on the violin, and then a few people, Wormser on the on the keyboards, and you don't think that when you think Nazi music? Not so much?
Not
Okay.
not as much as you might think. Now that you bring it up, I'm like, well, shit, why don't I? No, I'm really not thinking that. Like, so
Okay, yeah.
a Nazi
Synth band.
band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neo-Nazi. Let's be fair.
Okay.
Well,
Neo-Nazi.
it does matter because
synth
this is Sweden.
It didn't exist.
Right. Also that.
In the 40s.
But
so
Nazis are specifically German fascism, and neo-Nazis can be exported ideologies to other places, which is kind of an interesting thing.
Fair point.
Here's his quote in 97.
Okay.
He says, "I told everyone I really regret what I've done. I closed that book. I don't want to even talk about it. That time does not exist to me anymore. I closed it and I threw the book away in 1987. I took the experience from it. I learned from it. But that life is not me. It's somebody else." Now, here's where I get a bit suspicious, because you've got some disassociation there, which typically means that you would just rather ignore what had happened.
Yeah.
You're not really taking responsibility, but
You're not taking ownership. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I get, trauma's a thing, but also Ekberg was was a member of the Sweden Democrats, which was founded in 1988. Now, in 88, he's 18 years old.
Okay.
And he's part of this group called the Sweden Democrats. Now, the Sweden Democrats, while not a Nazi party explicitly, they were, in fact, a fascist party explicitly. One of their founders was a fellow named Gustav Ekström, a fervent Nazi. Titles are different.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But okay. So when we say that they were an explicitly fascist
yes.
party, are we saying that they like literally self-identified directly as fascists, or was
Yes.
it that
Yes.
and so predictably they wanted hypernationalism, state overall,
Yep. Anti-Semitism.
Okay.
Yep. Subjugation of women, make sure you keep the blacks out, all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So the whole nasty potpourri.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So that was 88. He joins, and one of the founders, like I said, was Gustav Ekström, who was himself a fervent Nazi. Now, what I mean by fervent Nazi is that he had joined the Nordic Youth in 1936. No, earlier than that, actually, which was the Swedish version of the Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
And not only did he join it, again, you could argue...
Different era.
Yeah, and you could argue there was a pope who was in the HJ, and he could have been pressed into service.
Yeah.
This was not pressing into service this early in the 30s, and he rose through the ranks to become a national officer in the organization in 1936.
Oh, shit.
And you could, the indiscretion of youth by, Gustav Ekström, except that in 1941, Ekström volunteered for the Waffen-SS, the military branch of the SS.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
So in 41, so he rose to leadership role in the Swedish Hitler Youth.
Yep.
In 36.
Yeah, the Nordic Youth. Yeah.
Nordic Youth.
Yep.
5 years later.
Yeah, when the war is going.
When the war is on
happening.
and everybody knows, he volunteered
for the
Waffen-SS.
Yep.
So by 80-something, he would have been in his 70s, 60s?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. At the earliest, he would have been, I think, well, let's see. If he joins the youth brigade basically in the early 30s, conservatively, he's maybe 13 at the youngest. Okay. So that would have made him born in 20 or so.
Okay.
And so 20 or so. So
he's in his
80 or so.
So by the 80s,
70s,
he's in his 70s. All right. Okay.
I'm
just trying to get a feel on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So from there, he rose to the rank of Rottenführer, which I love.
Yeah.
Rottenführer. And he was a translator in Berlin through 1945. So in 1988,
Okay.
at 81 years old,
Okay.
he founded the Sweden Democrats. He was a lifer.
So
Yeah.
what I don't get,
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's many things I don't
Sure.
get, but so you witnessed just exactly what happened during the war.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you witnessed just exactly how that all fell apart in spectacular fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody who was at a certain level or above
Mm-hmm.
in all of those organizations wound up at Nuremberg,
Yeah.
wound up either committing suicide
Mm-hmm.
or hanging.
Yeah. Or in prison.
Or
for
in
a number of
prison
years.
for- but-
or
but-
working for NASA. I mean, there's a
Well,
lot of ways. Yeah.
okay, yeah, right. You know, but assuming you weren't a physics genius and
Right.
and you were part of that cadre, how do you get to be 88 years old?
81.
81. Sorry, how do you get to be 81 years old,
Uh-huh.
have witnessed all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and not recognize that it failed?
Well,
Like-
you can
like-
recognize that it failed and come up with reasons why it was still right.
Okay. I mean,
I'm
know,
pretty sure Captain
I know,
Mal said something.
Yeah,
about
I know.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Bring that up in this context. Why don't you? I mean, I recognize that logically that's the answer, but you understand on an emotional level
Yeah.
what I'm saying is like, how do you
But again,
Like-
he joined
when
at
he was
puberty.
Yeah. So that
which
that
is
programming.
it's a really important question that you're asking, and my answer I think is equally important because I think this will come back round to help explain Ulf
Okay.
Ekberg. So now the first chairman of the Sweden Democrats was a fellow named Anders Klarström, who as a young man had been a part of the Nordic Reich Party.
Okay.
You may know that name because they're the assholes who were on parade when the old woman, Danuta Danielsson, hit one in the head with a
Smacked
purse.
one with a purse, and
Yeah.
and there's a statue of her
Yes.
there now.
And the prick that she hit would then go on later to torture and murder a gay Jewish man.
Oh,
Yeah. I wish she'd hit him harder with a brick.
I kind of wish it hadn't just been a purse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anders Klarström was a part of this party.
Okay.
And he, as a young man, was part of Nordic Reich Party. And he had made anti-Semitic phone calls to Sweden's version of Ed McMahon or Johnny Carson.
Oh,
Now,
how classy.
right.
You know, I love how far right figures all want to cloak themselves and you know, we're the real intellectuals and
Right.
we're smart and rational, and
Yeah.
all these lefties are all just bleeding hearts and they don't actually have facts. And then you like find out that no, this is your idea of political discourse.
Well, and then it gets worse because
great.
he was born in 1965. He's a Nazi come lately. Like I get it with Ekstrom,
Yeah, okay.
Gustav Ekstrom, because
Yeah.
he was whirlwinded up in a nationalist movement in his teens
Yeah.
during the first iteration of this. But this dude was born in 65. That's 20 years after it failed, and 20 years after like the Roaches have been forced to hide.
Yeah.
And yet.
Yeah.
Now, he was born in 65. Did I mention what band that Anders Klarström was a part of until it disbanded in 1986?
It was commit suicide, wasn't it? Oh boy. All right. Okay. So,
Okay,
and
so-
so that's how you can have
Right.
a neo-Nazi synth band.
Yes.
It's a synth band full of neo-Nazis.
Yes, as it were.
You know, now I'm starting to think of the haircuts on Flock of Seagulls, and I'm like, you know, should we have been looking harder?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
So in the 1990s, this group attracted a lot of skinheads, especially for public gatherings.
For synth music.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I didn't mean commit suicide.
Oh,
attracted them.
okay.
I mean...
The party.
Yes, I mean
Okay.
the political party,
Okay, sorry.
the Sweden Democrats.
Okay.
Pronouns, that's my problem.
Okay.
So especially for public gatherings, there were a lot of skinheads, and their platform in 1990 was pretty straightforward as a political party. Repatriate most immigrants who came to Sweden from 1970 forward, ban the adoption of foreign-born children, and reinstate the death penalty.
What kind of crazy ass motherfuckers Okay, let's start with the third one because remarkably enough, that's the least batshit of the three.
Right.
Reinstate the death penalty. Do you understand? Once you eliminate the death penalty, like that's one of those things. That's like
when you reinstate it, you're making a real commitment.
You're making That's like when you eliminate the death penalty, that's like building Medicare.
Right.
Like you don't go backward from that. People look at that and no, you've now set a standard.
Yeah.
And when you move away from that,
and the
that's a big deal.
And the standard is the same.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of pacing.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't kill people.
Right.
The state does not kill people.
Right.
And like you want to
you look at that and go, no, let's try it again.
Yeah.
Let's try it again.
No. Let's try killing them.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah. I grew up, as we've talked about before, I grew up in a Reaganite conservative household.
Which ideologically should have meant that you were against the state killing people.
Should have. You'd think so, wouldn't you?
So. Yeah, well, there's that.
But the idea was that there are some crimes, there are some criminals that you're not going to be able to rehabilitate, and the only way to eliminate the risk to society, whatever, right? And of course, then growing up, looking at the statistics and looking at the facts of all of it, I've of course come out of that viewpoint. But like, even as somebody who grew up and did not wholly give up my support of the death penalty until I was fully an adult.
Sure.
Like, even when I was a supporter. Looking at countries that had eliminated the death penalty, hearing that, no, we want to bring it back would be enough for me to be like, whoa. Like, I mean, we still have it. We never got rid of it.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, it's right up there with like removing solar panels from the roof of the White House. Like, who does that?
Like, why?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right.
So then, okay, we're going to start by reinstituting the death penalty because we want the government to be hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, how 90s is that shit?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Two, I'm going to go straight to the first one.
Yeah,
repatriation. Repatriation of everybody since 1974?
No, 70.
70, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a nice round number.
Sure.
Okay. But anybody who patriated over the course of 20 years, you're just going to say, nope, fuck off, get out.
Bye now.
Like,
because it works so well in Uganda.
Let's not even
against the Indians.
Yeah, let's not even talk about the humanitarian aspects of this because you're fucking Nazis and you don't.
The humanitarian aspect is the reason they're doing
is the point.
Yes.
Yeah, but if we're just gonna get if we're gonna be very, very centrist liberal about this whole thing,
okay,
let's forget about the moral, ethical, and humanitarian issues.
That is centrist liberal.
Let's just look at the economic impact.
Sure.
And like, okay, 70 to 90. This was 90. What?
This was
90?
The platform in 90. Yeah.
Okay, so
20 a generation.
20 years.
Yes.
So number one, there's been umpteen thousands of them born in the country since then. So the ones who were patriated, you're going to kick out. What about their kids? Number one.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they want to kick them out too, but whatever. But like legally,
right?
How are you gonna make that happen? But then let's look at the economic impact of that. Immigrants, we know statistically it's been shown by the Trump fucking White House. Immigrants generate more economic activity, more economic growth, more money.
Yeah.
For the economy of the country they move into.
Yeah.
Than native-born citizens do.
Yes.
Like, they are a net gain economically.
Yep.
So you're just going to say, no, fuck that.
Yep.
We're going to kick all of them out.
Yeah. And while we're at it, you can't adopt babies that were born somewhere else.
Okay. So wait.
Okay.
Wait.
Okay.
This
do
we
could have
know
been a one
this
episode
could have been
thing,
this could have been
so
this could have been, but this is fucking with me. I have to
okay.
like because this is, I mean, like, come on.
I tried. I tried,
batshit crazy.
I tried.
This is just so
This was a
fucking
one and
stupid.
done. Yeah.
Like, listen to how much I'm swearing in the middle of talking about this. It's just so bloody stupid.
Yep.
So you're not, and you can't adopt any babies from outside the country.
Right.
What does that have to do with fucking anything?
Well, I mean,
other than
Yeah.
your bullshit witchcraft, racist dipshittery.
that's
now, but
you
here,
get to it. It's
Okay,
a color thing.
yeah,
It's Sweden.
okay, but like, okay, so you said earlier, you mentioned something about the older guy, the Hitler Youth
Ekstrom.
leader Ekstrom.
No, Ekstrom.
Ekstrom, getting caught. You said something about getting caught up in a nationalist movement, right?
Yes.
Here's the deal. I'm going to quibble on that.
Okay.
It's not a fucking nationalist movement. A nationalist movement would have been, we are Swedes. We speak Swedish. We have the Swedish culture, et cetera, et cetera. No. He worked for the fucking Germans. It's not a nationalist.
He went to work for the Germans. Eventually, he started by joining a nationalist youth brigade, which he rose up in the ranks for, and then he decided to go.
But the roots of that nationalist thing were the international tendrils of Nazism.
Well,
which
I would say that it's an ethno-nationalism, so it's okay. That's exactly what they were doing. They were creating an ethno-state called Germania,
Well, okay, but
Yes.
what I'm getting, I mean, like, it's just everything about the idea of that brand. Like, if you're gonna have an ethno-state, like, it's got to be built around something other than just we're all blonde and fair. Or we're all blonde and fair skinned. Like, Swedish
push back.
and German are different fucking languages.
Yeah.
They have different cultural backgrounds.
Yeah.
The gods they worshipped were different pre-Christianity.
Close enough.
The brands of Christianity they adopted were notably different.
Those don't
Germany
matter.
didn't even have one unified kind of Christianity in their fucking country.
I'm sorry, I don't see why those things. If you're creating an ethno state, you define your ethno
it's
state.
a ratio nationalist state, and your ideas of race are bullshit.
Yes.
All right, fine.
Yes.
I just had to get that off my. Anyway, it's all just such witchcraft.
Oh, you're gonna be so mad at the next sentence.
God damn it!
So.
I'm ready.
Are you though?
I don't know.
They as a group, this is the Swedish Democrats.
Yeah.
They courted such connections as the National Democratic Party of Germany,
Natch,
which existed in 1990.
Yeah. Of course it does.
Well, because you do still have rightists, but Nazi shit. Like if a party turns Nazi, it's immediately banned in Germany. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Do we know where the dividing line is in German, like in their law?
There is a.
Is it an issue of like if you adopt?
Whom I follow, and she breaks it down pretty well. I can point you to it. But,
all right, but anyway.
So they courted them. They courted
you'd think a party with National Democrat anywhere in their name in Germany would be throwing up like all of the red flags with little white circles with swastikas in them. Like, anyway, sorry. Sorry.
So they courted them. They courted a group called the National Association for the Advancement of White People. And they courted.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just so goddamn podunk. Like,
well, that's
anyway,
David Duke's group.
Oh, all right. Never
Yeah.
mind. Okay. It's the advancement of that's called the U.S. Congress since 17. I don't know what.
Oh, that's good. I like that. It's true.
That's the Senate, motherfucker. Yeah. Like, come on.
And also a group called Combat 18 in Britain.
Oh yeah. Okay. I remember hearing about.
I think the research I did for this has put me on a number of lists because I dug deep. So they've also since the Swedish Democrats have also since linked up with the National Front of France, including Jean-Marie Le Pen.
Yeah. Jesus.
And since the late 1990s, realizing that the center was easier to jump rightward from, they began to soften their image to become more mainstream. So they've stopped doing the let's ban all the browns and stuff like that. No. We're doing these things which are pro-labor. We're doing these things which are, and you can be pro-labor and a racist. I mean, America proved that for a long time.
Yeah.
You can do stuff like that. And so they've gone center, which again, it's kind of like Hydra going dormant and S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
It seems
A
to have worked.
beautiful parasite.
Yeah, it seems to have worked too, because they have become the third largest party in the Swedish parliament.
Fuck me. Really?
Yeah, and for the longest time,
Damn it.
all the other parties straight up refused to work with them, which is great.
Yeah.
Until recently, the Christian Democrat Party and the Moderate Party are starting to work with them. They've still retained much of their nationalistic, xenophobic, and racist ideology. They just make it seem softer, and they play the civility politics game.
Oh, well.
So they Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
Now, the Sweden Democrats were founded by right-wing fascist nationalist Swedish politicians who had direct lineage to the Bevara Sverige Svenske, or the BSS.
Bevara
Sverige Svenske.
Okay.
The BSS. In English, we call that Keep Sweden Swedish. That was the movement. Now, these assholes got started in 1979, and they used to hand out stickers to Swedish girls specifically, warning them to not shame the Swedish race by having sex with black men.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
How much of an issue even is this, or was this, in the 70s in Sweden?
How much of an issue
Like,
was
how
lipstick
many
parties
guys-
in the early 2000s, really? But yet,
Well, but-
people
but-
went apeshit about it.
Well,
It showed up on ER.
but I just mean,
Yeah.
how many black men were there in Sweden in 1970 for this to even be a threat?
Well, I would say that given the liberation of a lot of former colonies
Okay.
in Africa and South Asia,
Okay, and then moving
you
into
have
Europe.
yeah.
And by that time, the Nordic countries all being, democratic socialist havens where, like, no, you can go here and get help
work.
getting a job, get work.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, all right, okay.
So
Okay, there might have been a demographic present to be perceived as a threat.
enough that people
Okay.
who wanted to see it as a threat saw it as a threat and could
Okay.
call it as a
And
threat,
could call
and
it
would
and
tickle
make
that
political hay.
amygdala. Yeah.
All right.
So it wasn't the word that they used, of course, but that's what they would give out, these stickers.
Yeah,
and I found a picture of the stickers. It's hilarious.
God. So,
Yeah.
like, everything when I was a young man,
Uh-huh.
like, to one extent or another, everything I did in life
Mhm.
had at its end goal
Mhm.
getting laid.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to be blunt about this.
Sure,
Like
sure.
other considerations were there and often were more immediate concerns, but
Yeah.
like ultimately
Or realistic.
I would or realistic.
fair,
I, but like I want to get to a place where
Yeah.
I'm
Getting laid.
I'm getting laid. So like I have to wonder at the logic of like I'm going to be the guy standing on a street corner handing girls these stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz like what convoluted delusional mindset makes you think you're going to be seen as anything other than the grossest kind of creep?
Well, you say that, and yet how many of our friends grew up upset that being the nice guy didn't get them laid?
All right, good point.
So,
All right.
now their main focus was to stop immigration to Sweden, but they also claimed that was not racist, which you can make a grammatical argument as such, but it's inherently racist.
Inherently.
Of course, their bumper stickers seem pretty racist because their bumper stickers said things like, quote, "Don't let your daughter become a Negro toy," or, quote, "Negroes threaten their victims."
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Now, I imagine that loses something in translation, but that seems to be what it translates into. Now, this group,
What?
okay,
Okay.
the Sweden Democrats, in
Right.
turn, was inspired by a group called the New Swedish Movement, which was started by a guy named Per Engdahl, who was...
His name I've heard.
Yes. He was a Nazi-loving politician who started that party in 1941 because, of course, he did. After the war, he ran something called the Malmo movement, which helped Nazis hide from justice and get out of Europe.
Oh, moved him down to South America.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
I wonder, and this is just me wondering and never having done the research, I wonder if there's a connection of the because Malmo's a town.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Malm Luggage Company is related to that town. And it just kind of...
Yeah, you kind of wonder.
Yeah.
Don't know.
But
Anyway.
he was a world leader in the European neo-Nazi movement of the 1950s. Yes, there was, in fact, a neo-Nazi movement starting in the 50s. Yeah. Now that's... Yeah. Now we're going to go back to Ekberg.
Okay.
Buddha.
Yeah.
Right? In 2013, he said, quote, "Commit Suicide was a new wave music band creating and performing electronic music on synthesizers without any political touch or agenda." Which is weird in 2013 for him to have said something that so thoroughly contradicted his distaste for it in 1997. He also claimed that his band was grouped in with other groups who sang racist lyrics and espoused white supremacy. Incidentally, there's a photo of him from his time in Commit Suicide giving a Nazi salute. Now, he was somewhere between the ages of 13 to 16.
Yeah.
But...
surrounded by older people.
He's also said, though, like, I am ashamed of that era. But in 2013, he says...
has this weird kind of
he
bizarre reversal kind of thing, yeah.
Several reporters attribute the following lyrics to Commit Suicide. Quote, assume a synth beat...
Yeah, the 80s version of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So men in white hoods march down the road. We enjoy ourselves when we're sawing off the N-word's heads. Immigrant, we hate you. Out, 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 out. Nordic people, wake up now. Shoot, 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 shoot. I assume out, 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 and shoot, 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 shoot are call and response, but I don't know. But that was part of the band.
With synth music, it could, in new wave, it could just be repetition.
Yeah.
New wave was not call and response.
Okay.
Much.
But
anyway.
Racism tends to be.
Yeah,
so,
granted, but wow.
But yeah, so those were the lyrics of the band that did not have much political touch or agenda.
Yeah.
Ekberg has also denied membership with the Sweden Democrats, stating that it's a, quote, factual error, which is a weird way of saying I was never in them.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead, ask me, Damian, if I've ever been a member of the Nazi Party.
Have you, Damian, ever been a member of the Nazi Party?
Well, that's a factual error, Ed. Like, doesn't that seem really...
It seems...
Okay,
but
okay.
But
Ask me again.
Damian,
Yeah.
are you now or have you ever been a member of the Nazi Party?
Fuck no.
Okay.
See, that's different.
Yeah, much
got a different vibe.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how much of... when you say he says it was a factual error, how much of that is a translation thing?
I'm
from
pretty
Swedish?
sure the Swedes are not as bad as the Romans about being able to say yes or no.
Okay. All right.
I think there's a no.
Or the
word.
Japanese, for that matter. But yeah, okay. All right. Understood.
So most of his denials and apologies are flaccid verbal gymnastics, I think.
Okay.
But translation may be a thing. I'm still holding out. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be
All
as
right.
gracious as I can.
Okay.
But still, Ekberg...
it's weak tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Ekberg, because of his previous denials, he strikes me as someone who'd rather not think of himself in that way and therefore not give full countenance to the past. And if
Okay.
you're not going to give full countenance, I get to doubt your sincerity. Especially if we start to dig at the name Ace of Base. Remember that base in Laurent?
Yeah.
The German Navy planned so many successful submarine attacks from that site that it was known colloquially as the Base of Aces.
What? Okay.
Swedish pop band Ace of Base, not Ace of Base with an S, but Ace of Base with an E,
Yeah.
as one would imagine with Euro dance music, has claimed various origins of their name. Fair. For instance, the studio was considered a base, and they're the aces, and they're the aces of the base. Okay, yeah. And generally in their early years, these stories centered around the studio being the base, and they're aces, experts, masters of their craft of that base. So Ace of Base. In 2018, Ulf Ekberg said, quote, "The name came out of a hangover I had on New Year's Day. So I was hungover watching MTV, and I saw Motorhead's video for their song Ace of Spades.
Okay.
I liked the name and thought I'd play around with those words. We're 4 members of this band, so I thought, good, 4 aces. I'll keep the ace. Then I thought of our studio and how it's our base."
Okay.
It seems innocent enough. Accidentally an inversion of some obscure bit of Nazi trivia, like a Kekistan flag or something.
Yeah.
Weird that both are pretty closely tied and clearly tied to Nazi Germany's navy, but okay.
Yeah, okay.
And it's weird that they'd be named by Ulf Ekberg, who has several ancillary, not entirely deniable, not entirely denied connections to the group that dig obscure Nazi shit.
Yeah.
So that's the name. Now, let's talk about that debut album, huh?
Yeah.
Kick ass. It was called Happy Nation, and it was released to the world in November 1992. But it wouldn't reach the United States market until November of 93, and by then the title Happy Nation everywhere else was called The Sign. It's catchy. It's got a fun dance beat, varied vocals, that whistling that they're known for from this album.
Yeah.
Several songs had whistles in it.
Had that same kind of note.
Yeah.
To them.
And now I'm going to avoid most references to the music videos because the relationship between an artist's song and the people who make the videos is not always in perfect sync with each other.
Yeah.
And so, again, I'm trying to extend as much grace as I can.
Possible.
It definitely pulls, as a band, from a bit of the old influence of reggae and West Indies music that you can find in rude boy ska from the late 70s. Interestingly, so did neo-Nazi punk, owing to the co-opting of skinhead fashion and culture by neo-Nazis and ruining really cool looks.
Yeah.
But drawing from the same well is not enough to convict someone of neo-Nazi pop music.
Okay.
The lyrics are a bit odd. They feel very Filippo Marinetti, very futurism.
Okay.
The precursor to fascism, the art, the pre-World War I.
Yeah.
Here is Happy Nation. Happy Nation living in a happy nation. And I can hear the song in my head.
Yeah.
Where the people understand and dream of the perfect man, a situation leading to sweet salvation. For the people, for the good, for mankind, brotherhood. We're traveling in time, ideas by man, and only that will last. Here's something from the 1909 Futurist Manifesto. Come on, my lads, let's get out of here. At long last, all the myths and mystical ideals are behind us. Nothing at all worth dying for, other than the desire to divest ourselves finally of the courage that weighed us down. For those who are dying anyway, for the invalids, for the prisoners, who cares? The admirable past may be a balm to their worries, since for them the future is a closed book. But we, the powerful young futurists, don't want to have anything to do with it, the past. Tonally very similar.
Mm-hmm. The Happy Nation kind of sounds like the Futurist Manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
The It's a Small World version of the Futurist Manifesto.
I love it.
We're gonna polish all the rough edges off of it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a bunch of little bobblehead dolls kind of bouncing back and forth singing. It's all gonna be very happy, joy.
Exactly.
And it sounds utopian.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not until you go, wait a minute, can you give me that line about the perfect man?
Funny that because it seems to see a perfect man as a perfect solution.
Hold on.
For everyone in one single happy nation. Not happy world.
No.
Happy nation.
Well, yeah.
Now, I don't think this is a love song to Hitler. I do think that it's still drawing from the same water that Ekberg was swimming in as a youth, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, the whole idea of, unity within the nation, everybody, working together. There is a way to yearn for unity that is normal, that is healthy. Like, we want everybody to be on the same side. Ideally, we would all like to be working together toward a common goal.
Yeah.
It's an attractive idea, whether you're a righty or a lefty.
Yeah.
Like,
Steve Rogers.
You like that. Yeah, no, Steve Rogers, the socialist Steve Rogers would be like, well, no, we all got to pull together.
Yeah.
The difference is, okay, how do we emphasize that? In the one case, it's no, we are all out looking out for one another would be the lefty version of it. Whereas, no, we're all working together for the greatness of the nation is the righty version. And one perfect man is going to, make the decisions for us, and we all have to follow them. Very Good, yeah. He's out of line, but he's right. Or no, he's not. He is out of line, but he's also wrong in this case. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway,
And again,
wow.
I must point out that when it was released in the U.S., the album was not called Happy Nation. The playlist was specifically rejiggered so that Happy Nation remained buried at the bottom of the heap. It's like track 10. I couldn't find anything beyond Arista Records arguing marketability for renaming it, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Here's some more lyrics. And over time, we've learned from the past that no man's fit to rule the world alone. A man will die, but not his ideas. Happy Nation. Just really uncomfortable. Now,
that again.
Yep.
You could be talking about Gandhi. We don't know.
Right.
You could be talking about Martin Luther King Jr.
You could
Dr. King. You could be talking about him.
There's a lot of
JFK.
cover. Yes.
Like there's any number of people you could be talking about. And then you realize, wait, you were a member of what party again?
Yeah.
Or you won't truly deny having been a member of what party again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, by 1994, Per Engdahl had died, and he was one of the founding fathers of Swedish fascism.
Yeah.
He died, but his ideas, as I showed above with the various right-wing political parties in Sweden, lived on.
Yeah, sorry, but Swedish fascism, for some reason,
it just,
I
know.
like
it sounds so fluffy.
It sounds,
it really does.
You know, do you have to build? Like do they give you pegs to instead of wooden pegs to put together
the concentration
camp barracks like fascism by IKEA
So Per Engdahl died, but his ideas lived on. And given the focus on Sweden for the Swedes, Happy Nation remains a bit suspect to me. I don't think it's a love song to Per Engdahl. I don't think so. I do think, though, that the programming that we receive when we're younger, water that we swim in, and then the cultural milieu does influence it. Now, the band itself has said that the song was, quote, an anti-fascist song and a hymn to life. Cool. Ekberg claimed that it was
all of the other members of the band probably looked at it and went, okay, cool.
Right.
The guy who wrote it might have... Anyway.
Ekberg himself claimed that it was a response to, quote, everybody talking about how bad everything is. I think the best thing is to see the positive. Again, pretty vanilla, non-remarkable. Artists don't have to be deep philosophers about their art.
No.
And not to throw shade, but 1990s Swedish pop is not known for its depth in either language.
No.
I reiterate here, I don't think they're doing any of it on purpose. I don't think that Ulf Ekberg is deliberately trying to spread Nazi propaganda. But I do think that some of his firmware was set, and he keeps bringing him back to certain themes when it comes to music.
Yeah.
It's like a less benign version of how I can't seem to help but turn everything into pro wrestling.
Yeah.
You know? Now, let's look at the sign.
Okay. There we go.
Everybody knows it.
Okay. And I gotta share this story. Okay. So in college, junior and senior year, one of my best friends is one of those guys who he can put background music on and have the same song playing for 12 hours while he's doing something else, and for him all it is background noise. Like he's one of those people who either doesn't hear lyrics or like it doesn't, there's a different level of his brain on which it operates than say me and my other roommates. We had a 4-bedroom apartment. He was in one of the downstairs bedrooms, and he got the sign and he put it on repeat while he was working on literally rebuilding his computer. And it took about 6 hours before, I don't remember which one of the others of us in the apartment finally stuck our heads in his door and went, are you okay? Can we please turn this off? Because, for the first hour, like, it's a really catchy tune.
It is catchy. Yeah.
And then after hour 3, you're like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
And so that's that's one of my most visceral memories of Ace of Base. There.
What's interesting with that is that it was not even originally on the debut album.
Really?
The debut album for America it was on.
Okay.
But not in the debut album. The US release had it because they couldn't call it Happy Nation. So they wrote another song and put that on there, and this was the second single to come out of that album, if my Togo's memory serves me. And I say that specifically because while you were in college listening to your friend fix his computer, I was working at Togo's in Walnut Creek, and VH1 was on TV because VH1 is safe for the white people of Walnut Creek. MTV is not. And the sign would come on.
That's funny.
No fewer than 6 times in a shift. And so every single time that I hear the sign, I smell pickles.
It's such a weird synesthesia thing. Like...
So the lyrics of the sign are pretty benign and banal.
Yeah.
Here they are.
Okay.
I got a new life. You would hardly recognize me. I'm so glad. How can a person like me care for you? Why do I bother? When you're not the one for me, is enough enough? I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Life is demanding without understanding. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. No one's going to drag you up to get into the light where you belong, but where do you belong? It could absolutely be a song about the reawakening of someone. I mean, this is only a couple years after Wilson Phillips with Someday Somebody's Going to Make You Want to Turn Around and Say Goodbye.
Yeah.
And, you know, like affirmation, you deserve better music.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it could absolutely be that. And
as you were reading those lyrics, I heard the song.
Yes.
Because it was just that ubiquitous.
Yeah. And it's catchy as hell. It's Swedish pop. I also, with that song, I loved, I was dating a gal that she showed me Pitch Perfect. And I was like, I'm never going to watch Pitch Perfect. I love Pitch Perfect. It is such a great send-up of so many great things.
It's an amazing film.
But the Barden Bellas, the whitest girl group there is,
at
the whitest college there is, what's the song they open with?
Yeah.
The Sign. And I showed that opening because where the gal just barfs everywhere.
Just vomits. Yeah.
I showed that to my daughter, and she thought it was hilarious. So this song could absolutely be somebody realizing I deserve better and their friend telling them. Then again, Per Engdahl did see the rise of fascism as a reason to react and create a new Swedishness as early as 1932. And in 1944, he would say, quote, today, which was April 23rd, 1944, we can only salute Adolf Hitler as God's chosen savior of Europe. But again, it feels like I'm grasping at straws here. So it's clearly someone who's come out of darkness, unconsciousness, and some sort of complacency. A cataclysmic event of some sort has awakened him or her, and now the author wants to encourage others to bring themselves out of this sleepy place too. It's just, But I'm also tripping over the quote, how can a person like me care for you? Why do I bother when you're not the one for me? Obviously, he or she has just moved on beyond the person that they're leaving behind. You know, is enough enough? I guess, I mean, you've done your best and you're done. You know, I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Life is demanding without understanding. I saw the sign. And it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. No one's going to drag you up to get into the light where you belong. But where do you belong? Or could it be newfound faith in one's identity because you've seen the light, the sign of a cataclysmic political enlightenment, and you feel your Viking blood stirring?
Okay.
Jonas Berggren, Joker, who wrote it, he said it was more about looking back at old relationships, whereas his sister Jenny saw it more as your journey on the road of life. Ulf Ekberg is conspicuous in his absence from this song's
commentary.
Credits. Well, also from this song's credits.
Oh, okay.
Like, he was credited with almost all the other songs. In fact, this is one of the only 2 that he's not credited on, which kind of makes sense since this was added to the album for the American release and not part of the original. But what I get a kick out of is its feature in Pitch Perfect. Very white, very conservative, coded, dressed. They're dressed by like 1960s
housewives.
I was gonna say stewardesses.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Same uniform.
Yeah.
Lead singer is Anna Camp, who'd previously played the sexpot wife of a hypocritical televangelist in True Blood. She vomits copious. Oh yes. And I don't really dig blondes very often. There's something about her that I just find eminently attractive. But she vomits a lot in her solo. Maybe that's what it is. The inclusion of that specific song with its pop roots, with its super catchy hook and its soccer vanness.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful setup and version of The Expectation. I love it. Now, the final song of that album I want to look at is a bit more in line with my theory that Ace of Base is very much influenced by the childhood exposure of Ulf Ekberg to ultra right-wing rhetorics and politics, and that is All That She Wants. It was the first American single.
Yeah.
It is a song that is somewhat scornful of female sexual freedom and agency, because the word baby means boyfriend colloquially in Sweden at that time. And if you look at the Britney Spears song, Hit Me Baby One More Time, she's not saying infant slap me. She's saying boyfriend.
Yeah.
And hit me is to call me.
Yeah.
So baby is colloquial for boyfriend.
Okay.
And it's in a mournful minor key, conveying regretfulness, tragedy, sadness, potentially menace, but for the quick beat of the song. The lyrics themselves focus on what Ekberg says is a typical Swedish, Norwegian, or German girl who, quote, meets lots of boys. Now, Nordic ideas on a woman's sexuality are likely a lot less judgy than our own puritanical, self-contradictory ideas in America.
Okay.
But there's something pulling judgment into the song there, and both Jonas and Jenny Berggren have gone on record as stating that it's about a woman who's not healthily making these choices. Jenny said it's because the girl isn't whole, and Jonas says that it was subconsciously about a girl he knew a long time ago, but he doesn't appear to remember her fondly. Now, 3 of the 4 members have remarked on somewhat negative connotations toward a woman being sexually libertine. It might also be the minor key that it's in. It might also be the lyrics themselves. It's not the anti-Semitic anthem about welfare state that some people have claimed, because that is what people have claimed.
Yeah, the argument.
Yeah, and that rests a lot on circumstantial evidence that includes the video, a misunderstanding of the word baby, and the implications of that misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And there's tons of evidence to show that baby means sexual or romantic partner and not external parasite.
Yeah.
Especially in Sweden, because first, the song is very much inspired by Swedish pop artist Kayo. Kayo or Kayo. K-A-Y-O. A woman of Nigerian descent who sang a song called Another Mother, which is a woman saying that she's not there to take care of her baby. Read boyfriend. But to be an equal partner, and he's not measuring up, so it's over. She's telling him that the woman he's running to is also not another mother. And it's kind of got a nice reggae house sound to it, which is pretty common for Sweden at that time, and it easily echoes into All That She Wants. Also, the amount of songs written in Sweden that end up using baby as a boyfriend or romantic partner are pretty voluminous, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, Hit Me Baby One More Time. But what this song is, though, is a more conservative song about a woman's sex. And I think that ties back to what moved Ulf Ekberg in terms of a musical foci. Remember the taxonomy from the new Swedish movement post-World War II all the way through to the Sweden Democrats. On the way to that, Swedish far-right politics delved into specifically focusing on women's sex and what they chose to do with it. Recall the BSS, the Keep Sweden Swedish group, that would later turn into the Sweden Democrats, which Ekberg joined after Commit Suicide disbanded in 1986. The Sweden Democrats self-identified in 1988. But the BSS, its immediate precursor and thus a significant part of its political identity, partly focused on telling Swedish girls not to shame themselves sexually by intermixing and telling parents to guard their daughter's sex, to discouraging allowing black men to have sex with their daughters.
Okay.
I think that conservatism, that racism, absolutely, it was in his firmware, as we know. Yeah. And I think that absolutely led into these lyrics to the point where it gets somewhat misogynistic. And the song will mean different things to different people. I don't think the Berggrens grew up in the same way that Ekberg did. But it starts by saying that she leads a lonely life. And in the first verse, it just seems like a gal who had a good night and is enjoying her freed time. It kind of reminds me of Norwegian Wood, quite honestly. I once had a girl, or should I say, she once had me.
Okay, yeah.
It's just one country over. There's no real bitterness directed her way for it either. But the second verse, I guess, once she's done with the beach and the first chorus, kicks in with this. All that she wants is another baby. She's gone tomorrow, boy, and all that she wants is another baby. Yeah. So if you are in sight and the day is right, she's the hunter, you're the fox. The gentle voice that talks to you won't talk forever. It is a night for passion, but the morning means a goodbye. Beware of what is flashing in her eyes. She's going to get you. They've turned her into a predator.
Yeah.
And she's seeking fuck trophies.
Okay.
Otherwise, why are you talking about fox hunting?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't actually, the fox doesn't rhyme with anything. She's the hunter, you're the fox. I mean, they actually carry the syllable.
I always thought it was fawn.
No.
But okay.
Yeah.
No, fox. Okay.
So you could have used other words effectively. But also, this song is warning you. It's about her, but it's warning you. And this could tie back to the girl that Joker knew. Sure. It could also tie back to the empty compulsion that Jenny talked about.
Thematically, it's man-eater.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could be both of those things, but also it could be a series of cultural assumptions and expectations that Buddha, Ekberg, is making about a woman whose sexuality he scorns, partly due to how libertine she is. And all of that comes across as an appeal to traditional values, which is the bailiwick of the far right, no matter the country.
What's funny is the first time somebody told me, "Oh yeah, Ace of Base, no, they're Nazis," I thought of this song.
Mm-hmm.
And what I immediately went straight to was the Nuremberg rallies.
Oh.
And the idea that, you know, during the Nuremberg rallies, young German girls were encouraged.
Yes.
To get it on with Aryan young men and have little blonde babies.
Yep.
That's
ooh, yeah.
You know, like when people told me, well, you know, I mean, they're Nazis. You know that, right? It was like, what? And then I thought about the lyrics to that song. I'm like, oh, well, Nuremberg rally. You know, I mean, it was a weird kind of convoluted thing, but yeah.
Well, and the Nuremberg rallies were Nazi propaganda of the 30s, which Per Engdahl, the cornerstone of the Swedish far-right thinking and politics, most certainly found common cause with.
Oh, you know he was a Leni Riefenstahl fan.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. The stereotypical Jewish woman was portrayed as a younger Jewish woman who are oversexed and indulgent. Jewish women were also portrayed as...
I don't feel like they've met very many. Anyway, sorry. Well, but anyway, yeah.
Jewish women were also portrayed as being more sexually promiscuous at the time as the carriers of STDs and seducers of good Aryan men. Again, you also portray the men as being like rats. So you know, you got to full court press.
I just find it interesting that the stereotypes that you know people throw up against them in the Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's weird to me how the negative stereotypes are so dramatically different. Yeah. But okay.
So the image of Jewish women helped to effectively set up an Aryan woman as virtuous and idealized, which thereby others non-Aryans.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And also there's a sense of predation carried through from that propaganda to 1993 in Swedish pop, written in part by a man who had far-right leanings.
Okay.
So, ultimately, was Ulf Ekberg a Nazi? No. Was he a teenager who fell in love with some Nazi and fascist shit? Most definitely.
Okay.
Was the rest of Ace of Base? They don't seem to be at all. And he's gone to great lengths to exonerate them and distance them from his own past, which he still doesn't deny emphatically.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah. And they didn't
the fact of whether or not I was ever a Nazi.
And they didn't seem to know any of his childhood dalliances with Nazi and fascist shit before he joined them either.
You know, it's not exactly anything you'd spend a lot of time advertising, for one thing. And like, you know...
And given his non-apologies and his seeming desire to leave it all behind, that seems pretty in line with what he'd do, and many of us would too. We would just want to forget our shittiness. But his compass does seem to keep pointing back to the ideals and underpinnings of far-right ideology, and that seems to have a knock-on effect on the music that Ace of Base put out that was popularized in America in the early 1900s, and it's that connection.
You mean
I think
early
is,
1990s?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that connection is most fascinating. Here's why. In 1993 and 1994, black artists and hip-hop were crossing over into pop a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Boys to Men,
Yep.
Heavy D, Diggable Planets, Tupac, Onyx, Naughty by Nature, Cypress Hill, Salt and Peppa, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Wu-Tang Clan, E40, Snoop Dogg, Mac Dre were all heavily successful in those years, and they were finding crossover success in the pop world. Not only that, but many of these had a second album that were coming out in 93, following through on their breakthrough success from prior year. And there were plenty of debut albums too. And for many white suburban parents in 1993, when the culture wars were happening, as I've discussed ad nauseum in a few different episodes,
Yeah.
Ace of Base was far safer, and the lyrics hearkened to something that felt safer as well.
As you said, VH1 was safe for the white people
Yes.
of Walnut Creek during this dangerous time.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
was music that parents could also get into because it's poppy. It's not the
It doesn't
really,
have the
yeah.
heavy pulsing kind of
right of West Coast
West Coast
rap,
hip-hop.
or
Yeah.
or you know the high end stuff of the East Coast, and I might have mixed those up.
No, I think you got it.
And
right.
it doesn't talk about things that are so alien to suburban parents. And the kids who preferred
But the stuff that
alternative-
was alien to suburban parents was exactly what made suburban white kids eat it the fuck up.
well, also I think it was
Like, I mean,
new,
rebellion,
and there was,
new, yeah.
there was a
and-
layer of authenticity, but also kids who didn't really like hip hop, who liked modern rock. This also blended with that too.
That's true.
Ace of Base is not.
So they had white people crossover
yes.
potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was something safe for parents to buy for their kids. Hey, like, you know, for your Christmas stocking stuffer or one of your
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
gifts,
yeah,
you get an Ace of Base CD. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, not bad. You know,
Okay, yeah.
But it would get a little bit, you know, it would take up some time
Yeah.
from Cypress Hill.
Create a break in the house playlist.
Yeah. You know, now Ace of
So
Base.
so that they could get away from Insane in the Membrane
Right.
for, you know,
Yeah.
an hour. Yeah.
Ace of Base is not a secret Nazi music any more than Judas Priest is telling kids to kill themselves. But it definitely has a specific historical resonance to Swedish ultra-right-wing politics that is made more acceptable by its use of reggae and house fusion. So
Okay.
do I feel guilty listening to Ace of Base? A little bit. And I know what's driving it, or at least what water it was boiled in, and that shit's poison. But it also gets my toe tap, and it puts a little honey in my hips, and I enjoy it. And this is why I think I understand better adult conversion to religions that have institutional histories of massive abuse and atrocities, for which they've given bland blanket apologies and made little, if any, effort toward restoring justice toward those who were victimized. Your spiritual toe gets to tap to the beat that they're playing no matter what they did in the past. And you're picking what you're resonating with out of it. And I can't really fault that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel a little come for.
It was in the title.
I'm just,
It
I
was in
know.
the
Well,
title.
I know.
And
I know.
always pay these things off.
Yeah, I know. I
I'm
know.
sorry that you forgot.
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
No, I didn't forget. I've been waiting for it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that last little bit was kind of like, and now the thrust home.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I never expected a blow from the left.
As Principal
You
Skinner
know.
said, prove me wrong,
Wrong.
children. Prove me wrong. So,
No, I'm right. It is the children who are wrong.
yes.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So what have you gleaned?
I'm gonna have to spend some time digesting the last stinger there at the end. That you know, I don't flesh. Well, no, the whole episode was a flesh to the thrust home at the very end. But I think what I am left with most pointedly is the sudden recollection. And I robbed you of the chance to expand on it anymore with my, you know, oh my God, no wait moments earlier in the episode. But remembering what the popular culture landscape and the pop, specifically landscape, looked like literally half our lives ago. You know, senior year of high school, going into college, and how much, if I were to go back in time right now, how much I would look at myself at that time and go, yeah, you don't realize that you're kind of perpetuating inculcated patterns of kind of racist bias, but you really are. Like,
hell, the first 10 years of teaching for me was that.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I
but
was, yeah.
but you know, and thinking about the kind of visceral way that I responded to rap.
Yeah.
Negatively visceral, and now, like with I don't know, life experience, whatever, I don't know what the secret to it is, but now, looking back at the stuff that was being made during that time period, I can listen to Snoop Dogg and go, no, this guy's a fucking genius.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I didn't, what kind of idiot was I? I mean, the answer is I was 18, 19, you know, and we're all fucking dumb when we're 18, 19, with a few notable exceptions in human history.
Right.
But like, you know,
Alfred Jerry. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
but you know, like, and the ways in which the world was more racist than it is now.
Yes.
And the way that we, young white people who wanted to be better but didn't understand how we needed to be better,
Or
if
what
that
better
makes
meant.
sense, or what better meant.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the fact that I was basically one of the people in that time period who was convinced that, well, you know, we don't live in a racist country anymore.
Right.
While I was saying shit about NWA and Snoop Dogg, and you know, like,
while you were delegitimizing,
while I was delegitimizing an entire
Black
branch
expression.
of like a whole musical genre, one of the few that is uniquely American.
Yes.
Like,
quite so.
you know,
Yeah.
and so
Well,
that's kind of like just wanting to go back and grab 19-year-old me by the lapels and go, okay, no, look, just sit down and just listen to it.
Yeah.
For God's sakes, I'm not saying you have to become a fan right fucking now.
Right.
Just sit down and listen and recognize it's a thing.
Yeah.
That's all. Just,
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want people to read?
What I want people to do is I want everybody to think of a genre of music that you look down on. Because we all have one. We all have one. I want you to think of a genre of music that you look down on. And I want you to go on Spotify or Pandora or whatever, and I want you to find a playlist of it.
Okay.
And I want you to do what you can to listen to it with a mind like a blank slate. Try to get into Zen beginner's mind and listen to it for an hour. And if you still think it's shit at the end of that,
Sure.
okay.
Yeah.
But consider how much of your opinion is based on some level of bias of some kind, whatever it might be.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, if the genre of music that you have this attitude toward is country music, message me on Twitter and I will point you in the direction of some artists who are not pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Because the genre doesn't deserve to be tarred and feathered with some of those individuals.
Sure.
Toby Keith.
Yeah.
So just, you know.
Yeah, no, fully agree. Fully agree.
So please, for the sake of your own artistic integrity, everybody do that. And you, sir, what do you recommend?
I may have recommended this one recently, but I'm going to re-recommend it. They Thought They Were Free by Milton Mayer, which is essentially a study of, I think he started by interviewing 12 different people who lived in Germany at the time and asked them, why'd you go Nazi? And the interviews with them, it is
It's a
Fascinating.
very straightforward question with so much loading.
Well, I think I Damian phrased it. But,
yeah.
for the sake of brevity. But yeah, it's Germans from 33 to 45, and they thought that they were free, and what they voted for, and what they thought of Hitler, and what they thought of what he was doing, and what they allowed themselves to think of, and stuff like that. I think we so often put the blame on the party in charge, which is fair, but that also took the complicity of a nation, a happy nation.
Oh, nice touch.
Yep. So I'm going to say that. So let's see. You can find me on social media at Harmony.
2 H's in the middle of that.
Yes. On Twitter and Instagram. And every Tuesday night, twitch.tv/Capital Puns. By the time this airs, the next Capital Punishment Pun show will be in the beginning of September.
There we go.
We just, probably by the time this airs, we just had one this last Tuesday. But every Tuesday at 8:30, you can come check us out there. And, of course, this podcast. Make sure you rate, subscribe, review.
Give us the 5 stars that you know we've earned.
Hell yeah. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher. So
there you go.
Where can they find you?
I can be found at EH Blaylock on the Twitter machine. I can also be found at EH Blaylock on Instagram and Mr. Blaylock on TikTok, even though you're not going to find very much there. But that's where I can be found. And if you want to get a hold of us collectively to tell us how we're wrong, to vindicate my initial interpretation of All That She Wants Is Another Baby as being about Nuremberg, whatever, you can find us together at Geek History Time on Twitter, and our website, of course, is www.geekhistorytime.com.
There you go. All right. Well, let's see. For Geek History of Time, I'm Damian Harmony.
And I'm Ed Blaylock. And until next time, get up into the light where you belong.